NFL, and I forget I'm drawing a blank on the Pete Rozelle, where he made the big claim was parity is good for the sport. And it was, and it is. I mean, you look at the NFL, you could win the Super Bowl one year and not even make the playoffs the next year, and you could flip that around, not make the playoffs and win a Super Bowl title the next year. Not as likely to happen in college sports, so to speak. But if you at least give the West Virginias, the Oklahoma States, the Oregon States of the world a little more footing, it's great for the sport. It's great for college athletics.
Chris, what might not be great, though, is there's a fine line. You know, we get the federal government involved. We don't want them involved in all of college sports all the time. So, for instance, like with the anti-monopoly stuff with the NFL, the federal government can step in kind of when it wants. It doesn't as much. But NCAA could be opening themselves up for more federal intrusion, probably, maybe. Is that something to try to, like, avoid a little?
This is the power of the regulatory state. You can do it the right way. You can do it the wrong way. As long as the regulations, and this is what's going to happen. You're setting up a regulatory framework versus a legislative framework. This is not statutory at this point. It's regulatory. Still holds power. It would be the law to a certain degree. It's going to be challenged, as John said, in the court, and then the courts will refine it and bring it to its ultimate conclusion 4, 5, 6, 7 years down the road. But what you're doing is setting up and I wouldn't necessarily call it intrusion, but just oversight. And it can be a healthy oversight to protect the student athletes, to protect the universities and colleges from themselves, as Coach Vince was sort of more or less alluding to. When you bring a competitive balance and it's good for the game, you're protecting the corrupting influence of money to a lot of these programs. They all want to win. Georgia wants to win every year. Alabama wants to win every year. We're talking about football, right? For the most part here. They all want to win. I get that, and you can get loose with the bags of money being dropped, and that's been going on for generations, not years, generations. People have been paying to play for a long time, and Trump is just bringing it out in the open and saying, "Okay, we're going to have some regulations around this, so it's fair, it's open, it's going to save the game." Bringing in folks like Nick Saban does give it the imprimatur of legitimacy, which I think helps Trump in the long run, because Saban is so well respected, not just in college football, but throughout sports. And so it's heading in the right direction, and this should be applauded.
Let's just break this down. What the real issue is here, right? The real issue is not the $22 million cap to go to paying players. That's not the issue. They capped it. It's a decent cap. It makes sense. If you don't have $22 million, you can't pay it out. You got to go raise the money, or you pay half of it, or if you're Marshall, you got $8 million, whatever it is. The real crux here, guys, is this NIL money, which has now gotten to insane levels. And you can have all the NCAA guardrails you want. This thing has got to get capped, because it's like anything else. You got big pocket donors at Texas A&M or Texas Tech or Alabama, Georgia, wherever they are, Florida, and they're pouring all this money in, and they're just going to keep buying the best players. And so this guardrail thing is a paper tiger, because you can't set a market rate. If you have Joe car dealership saying, "I'm going to pay you $1 million to, do 2 promos for me," who is to judge whether that's market rate or not? Mm-hmm. And half this stuff, they don't do anything for it. So, and the higher you get, millions and millions of dollars coming out of high school. So it's just the rich is going to get richer, and the middle level schools are not going to be able to compete. Half the Big 12 schools can't compete. There's ACC schools not going to compete. All the lower conferences can't compete. And so you're just going to have a handful of colleges with buying all the best players. And it's just not coming out of high school. I mean, right now, if you look at the activity in the portal transfer, you go to a mid-major, you have a good season, you're gone for more money. So that mid-major has no shot at retaining you, because they can't pay you $2 million as a offensive tackle or a wide receiver or whatever it is the position is, or a power forward. So it's going to destroy the game. That's why Trump weighed in. I don't know how this is fixed, but right now this thing is chaos.
I mean, I tell you what, I mean, with hundreds and hundreds of colleges out there, there's about maybe 5 to 10 trying to lead the charge in this, try to figure out what they're supposed to do for the rest of the sports, the Olympic sports. So I imagine all these other colleges are kind of waiting and seeing what they were supposed to do, are happy that they finally have some kind of insight and some kind of, light at the end of the tunnel where they're going to know what to do to keep these programs. Because I couldn't imagine being at, a Division III school and all the money is just coming in from your football team and what you're going to do with the track team or with riflery. So I'm happy for the Olympic sports first and foremost, because now they know they're going to stay.
Well, I think that was really the cornerstone of President Trump's executive order, is that protecting the other sports. Because look, guys, and Vince, Coach Mayako knows this. If you're squeezed for money to be competitive in the sports that make you money, you're simply going to drop the other ones because there's only so much money you have. So you can't fund them. You can't give them scholarships. You can't pay the money to travel around. So they just go by the wayside. And then it becomes just a handful of super athletes getting all the money. And then, there's no rowing, there's no wrestling, there's no rifle, there's no women's soccer, all that's gone. And and the scholarships are gone with it. No softball. That's the problem.
You're listening to Godzilla Wins. We're just bringing up Trump's executive order that is trying to save college sports as we know. We're just putting it out there, just throwing it out there. I'm excited that someone is leading the charge on this. Obviously, but that's what we're talking about here, and we'll see.
You got to start the conversation meaningfully, and that's what he's done. And there's some teeth behind this thing. And as we've pointed out in several weeks, and I've made the point, ultimately, the revenue sports, the real revenue sports, college football and basketball, are going to be bifurcated. And the conferences might survive on the Olympic sports and go back to regional application of those conferences. There's no reason a kid from Rutgers should be having, conference games out in California. It just makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And for softball, if you want to save softball, do it regionally and then meet up in the playoffs and just have at it, because it's great television. It's a great sport to watch. However, you got to start this conversation somewhere. Good on Trump for starting it. Not a lot of blowback. People are going, okay, let's solve this one, because it is so important culturally in all the states out there. This is the big one, as they say, and he should be commended for it at least. And it's going to change. It's going to go to the courts, and everything's going to be amended and tweaked, but. We've got to go in the right direction. Ultimately, you're going to find much more transparency in these transactions, and it should be. So, the car dealer saying I'm going to pay $2 million for this kid has got to be completely out of bounds, but it has to be visible and has to be trackable, traceable, so that it can be brought to light. So people can go, okay, that's part of the mix, right? It has to be a fair, competitive landscape for college athletics to flourish and do what it's supposed to do, which is compete and do great things.
Well, in order to compete and do great things, you got to get a good night's sleep. Hey, right now, guys, this is going to shock you and knock your socks off. Mike Lindell, MyPillow, the greatest Giza sheet sale in the history of the human race, but it ends Sunday night. So you only got, you got a day and a half. That's it. Giza sheets. Get this. Normally $120, $49.98, any size, any color, right now. But this ends Sunday night, and then they go back up to over $100. For a Giza sheet, you get king size, queen size, double king, double queen, single, full, whatever you got. Didn't get them right there. There's no limit, but it is done Sunday at midnight. Now, you can't go through the normal channel because the sale is only offered to a handful of people like yours truly here on Godzilla Wins. So thank you, Mike. You got to go to mypillow.com/Godzilla. You just can't go to mypillow.com and put in promo code Godzilla. You pay $120. mypillow.com/Godzilla. That'll get you there. $49.98. Giza sheets. That's like sleeping on a slice of heaven. You get them. You're going to love them. For $49.98. mypillow.com/Godzilla. Sale ends at midnight on Sunday.
All right.
John, I got my Godzilla sheets and my pillow today as well too, so I had a great night's sleep last night.
Now, when you put them on the bed, I want to know what your wife Tammy said. What'd she say?
She said, honey, that's the best night's sleep I've ever had.
Coach Vince Mayoko, great
What's the code again?
spokesperson for MyPillow.
/Godzilla.
You got to go to mypillow.com, Chris, /Godzilla. If you just go to mypillow.com and put my code in, you'll pay $110. And it ends at midnight. And your lovely wife will be so happy. She'd be so happy.
Well, they make great gifts, and especially for kids going back to school, especially the college kids. Great
That's
gifts. Stock up now for the holidays. Great time to do it. Check that box. Great gifts to give.
I want to thank.
By the way, how's your wife, Chris? How's she doing? Is she good?
Oh, she's fine. What? Yeah. What?
Just
Something you don't know?
No, just tell her I said hi.
Oh, she's great. I mean, Michelle's wonderful. She's taking care. For those of you who don't know, she's taking care of a gentleman who's in his last couple of weeks. He's in hospice, and they're friends of ours for decades. And it's been very heartening to see a Christian woman in action taking care of someone on a daily basis, while she also juggles her work and my stupid person. But she's wonderful, and it's been a beautiful thing to see. But you all must be alluding to her brain surgery from about 6 years ago. So all's good. She's fantastic. Kids are great. Grandkids great.
She's a great lady, Chris.
Yep.
And she always feeds us when we do the election night shows that go on to midnight. There's never any food. She always brings food and feeds us. And aside from everything else, she's a great cook. So we got it all.
Well, God bless her. Thank everything she's doing for her family friend. And we're at the bottom of the hour. You're listening to the Godzilla Wins show. First half of the first hour, we talked about the executive order that Trump's passing. In the second half, we're going to get to Major League Baseball, even though Astros fans may want to duck and hide after last night's game. But we'll digress, even though they're probably going to win the World Series. I understand this. All right, we're getting to the trade deadline. It's coming up next week. And the Mariners made the first move, acquiring Josh Naylor from Cleveland. Jonathan, was this just setting up the stage for more big moves to come? And how big of a move is this for the high-flying Seattle Mariners?
Well, first of all, I love this move for Seattle. And the Mariners, their whole front office is pretty well known for making moves early around the trade deadline. They're usually like the catalyst of, hey, how's this going to go this year? And I think Naylor being thrown right into the heart of the lineup around Cal Raleigh and the rest of the Mariners roster right now who have their moments. Naylor with a 292 average and 11 homers on the season. And, I mean, he's going to eclipse 100 RBI sooner rather than later. He did all that with Arizona this year, and then he comes to the Mariners. That's a perfect addition to that part of the lineup, and I think he's going to be a great slugger for the Mariners. But, I do think that sets the precedent for the rest of the trade deadline before it ends at the end of the weekend. There's other moves, such as the Yankees getting Ryan McMahon from the Rockies. I think that's a good move. But again, I think Josh Naylor's your big blockbuster move so far.
Chris, what do you think about the first major deal, and with more to come, I'm sure, this week?
It's one of those deals, if you're not paying attention to West Coast baseball, you kind of go, huh? Who? What? But the Seattle Mariners are close this year to making the playoffs. And I don't think anyone projected that the first part of the season. So, they're making a move. They made it early. Which shows, aggression in the trade market, and I don't think they're done.
I think it was a good move for them. I mean, they need a bat in that lineup. We all know they have great pitching. I think they're 5 games behind the Astros, so they're certainly not out of that race. And they're in a good position to make it into the wild card right now. So I think it's a good move for them. The problem all season has been scoring runs, even with Cal Raleigh in there. They just don't score enough. Either the Giants got beat again last night by the Mets 6-1. Very difficult team to try to figure out right now. No him either. I think the Giants need a bat, or they're going to have to write this season off. I think they're 3.5 games now out of the wild card. They've kind of fallen out of contention in the West after a pretty good start. Rafael Devers had a 2-run homer game earlier in the week, and we thought maybe he's coming out of his funk. He went 0 for 4, I think, last night. So the Giants, they need a bat. As far as the Astros are concerned, we're going to do something. I don't want to do anything. I want to stand pat. We got all these players coming back. We have depleted our farm system. We're going to lose Framber Valdez. He's not going to get signed again. Somebody will pay him $9 bajillion, Mets or something. We're not going to sign him. So you just can't depleting your farm system for a rent a player like we did with Cucci for 2 months. I think it's insane. So I don't know what the Stros are going to do, but everybody's coming back. And so just wait it out. Alvarez is coming back. Myers is coming back. Pena's coming back. Argaretti's coming back. Javier's coming back off surgery. Garcia's coming back. McCullers is coming back. Just wait till you get to August. Wait till you get your players back, and you're going to be fine. Every season depleting what's remaining of your farm system. I just think it's a prescription. It's almost like a reverse Ponzi scheme. I mean, you eventually run out of hope. Your players get older, and then you're done. So I just hope they don't do anything major.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, go ahead.
Mitch, I think the big question is, I mean, of all of this, let's just cut to the chase. Do the Yankees make a move, and do they make the playoffs? I mean, that's, to me, that in Major League Baseball, you're looking at the standings going, what are we talking about here?
I mean, yeah, I mean, they had, I mean, Jonathan brought up a good point. They got Ryan McMahon, third base. That should fill a void. McMahon's had a struggle to start the season, but since the All-Star break has been playing pretty well, so it looks like that'll help the void. And also, they were playing terrible defense at the third base position. So, you're looking at the Yankees right now. They're obviously going in and making moves to try to make a run, but how much time legitimately do they have, Brendan? You think the Yankees can get out of this hole?
I think they certainly can. I mean, look, anytime you have the bat of Aaron Judge and, all these others. I mean, the Yankees got some sluggers outside of Judge too. They're always a scary team. It's very hard to count them out. They definitely haven't exceeded expectations this year. I mean, I'm not making that argument, but they are a hard team to ever say that they're completely finished, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, they got off to that hot start, had more home runs in a month than any other team in history. But prior to that, we had talked about how they might struggle this season. It seems like they're regressing a little bit to the mean there.
The most dangerous team in baseball right now is the Toronto Blue Jays, in my opinion. This team is fun to watch.
You think they'll be making any moves at the deadline?
Yes.
I'm not really sure. John thinks so.
Yes. I mean, when you had the best record in baseball, right now they got the best record in the major leagues. I think they got a 4 or 5 game lead over the Yankees. They're in position to win that division. They're going to need another starter. They got a pretty good back end of the bullpen. But, I mean, if you're the Blue Jays, now or never. I mean, you got the best record. You've come out of the second half, right? Since the All-Star game, they've won, 8 of 9 or 7 of 8. And they were hot before then. 10 straight wins at home or something. They broke that record. But yeah, they got to make a move. The other team that's got to make a move is the Tigers. Okay, smoke and mirrors. I said it all season. They got one pitcher, right? They don't hit that much. They played a lousy schedule at the first half of the season. They played all the weak sisters, and now it's time to pay the piper. Now you're playing real baseball teams that are trying to fight for a playoff spot. You've got one pitcher. Your starters have tanked, and you're still sitting there. You've lost 12 out of 13 games, and you're still sitting there with an 8-game lead. So, but they got to get a starter bad, and I don't care what it takes. If you're the Tigers front office right now, this is a disaster. I mean, you just got beat 12 or 13 games, and you're
swept by the Pirates,
and got swept by Pittsburgh.
Hey, can I jump in? You know who is really sitting well right now is the Pirates with Keller. He is going to be a hot item between now and the trade deadline. I've heard Blue Jays are very interested in him. Obviously, the Yankees will be. You mentioned the Tigers, John. I think the Dodgers are going to be a player in this as well, too. The Pirates are sitting really good with Keller. They really are. And another person, I know we hit the Pittsburgh area here. There's a rumor that O'Neal Cruz might even be on the trade block right now as well, too. And I'm not saying you trade him or anything, but boy, he could bring a boatload of talent to the Pirates as well, too.
Yeah,
Going
they'll
back-
just squander and then trade
Yeah.
off in 3 years.
Yeah, and going
Wash,
back to
rinse, repeat.
the point on the Josh Naylor deal, I was really surprised the D-backs became sellers so early.
Yeah.
Because you look at the standings, they're only maybe 3-4 games out of the wild card, but I guess it's one of those things. You're getting close to the trade deadline, and they're gearing up for the future, and figured that they could probably get some nice young talent for that trade.
And I know we brought up some of the big hitters, the Yankees, the Dodgers. They're going to be interested. I mean, their bullpen ranks 24th in ERA with 4.41. Key relievers are hurt or are kind of hobbled up, Tanner Scott and Phillips included. They have to be looking for closing, right? I mean, David Bednar, Pirates, another name, Johan Duran. I mean, I think the Dodgers are going to be players to try to bolster their bullpen. What do you say, Jonathan?
Yeah, I think so, because I mean the Dodgers can buy whatever they want. I mean they have pretty much the entire salary of the MLB. I think if Bednar ends up getting shipped, I think that could be a good place for him to land. LA really needs a good closer, and Bednar would thrive in that environment, especially. I mean, he's been one of the bright spots for this Pirates squad. But yeah, the Dodgers can pretty much do whatever they want. So
I love that move.
And they'll give good stuff in return.
Move. I
so
love
it's
that
not
move.
like
Bednar to the Dodgers. I love that move because, he's not doing anything in Pittsburgh now. They're out of. He's getting older. They'll get a lot in return. And boy, the Dodgers bullpen. I mean, the Astros exposed them 3 times in LA, right? They went into 7th inning with leads, blew all 3 games at home. As soon as you get in that bullpen, it's like, batters start, licking their chops because they just don't have anybody. And so I think Bednar would be a tremendous acquisition. And Pittsburgh, look, Pirates aren't going anywhere. They got to get rid of Mitch Keller, trade Bednar. The problem with Cruz is, why would you trade one of your young, exciting players?
Yeah,
why would you do that?
Else,
Why would you do that?
It's
Pittsburgh. Well, I have a novel idea. We're talking about a pretty darn good pitching lineup that the Pirates could keep and then also maybe be competitive next year. So if I'm man, I keep Keller, I keep Bednar. I've got this pitcher named Paul Skeens, and then why don't we get aggressive and but whatever.
Because we don't have a serious.
They don't do it. They squander talent anyway. They're not going to trade for good talent anyway, or they weren't going to do anything.
You got 2 of the top 5 prospects in Major League Baseball with the Pirates organization, Bubba Chandler and Connor Griffin, who could legitimately be in the lineup next year. Some would say Chandler should be in the lineup this year and bring him a September call-up or late season call-up. The Pirates are building an organization that can be competitive. Now, you can't ignore, though, the trade value of Mitch Keller and David Bednar, and Oviedo coming back from injury. There's a lot to be hopeful for. It's a Jekyll Hyde team. You get swept by the White Sox, you turn around and you sweep the Tigers. That's just bizarre. But they managed to pull it off. And a lot of teams are like that. They're building for the future. But if someone offers you a lot for Mitch Keller, you take it. If you got some bats that can come up and start barreling the ball at the shortstop, and you got to replace Reynolds in right field, or McCutcheon doesn't have that much time left, and you definitely need a bat at third base, and you trade Key Brian Haynes as a part of that trade. You make the deals, man.
Yeah.
And I think the interesting thing about Keller, I believe he's signed through 2028 as well.
Yeah,
so,
I don't want to get rid of him.
So that's going to be
so.
big value.
He's got a great system.
9 times out of 10, I count on Mitch Keller more than Skeens, even though Skeens is, he's the best in the world when he is, but he can never get the runs.
Keller gets wins at least. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is Keller wins. I know that's not on Skeens. I'm not saying Mitch Keller is objectively a better pitcher. I'm saying I also want to point out the Pirates are in a better situation than a lot of people give them credit for. They're still awful right now, granted. But I think the change from Danny Shelton to Don Kelly has turned this team around in a great way. They at least try, and I think that's a big difference, and especially with young prospects. And if you can retain some talent, if you decide not to sell, who knows? If Bob Nutting doesn't get in the way, they could be okay. And that for some people,
we
that's
describe them like a Babe Ruth U10 team. They put a lot of effort in.
Sometimes you need that.
They put a lot of effort in.
They tried very hard.
11 innings,
I'm not a Pirates
Yeah, I
fan.
know.
I'm
I
just
think they're in a
pointing it
good
out.
position if they would get rid of their GM and maybe have somebody that could figure out a way to.
No,
Yeah, and if the owner would quit screwing it up every time, it looks like we're moving forward.
That's what
Every
I'm
after sweeping the Tigers, they play the Diamondbacks last night and go 11 innings and manage count them one hit.
It's,
and lose
They
1-0.
lose 1-0. There's just
That's
God,
Don't you guys think, though, on a
definition of the
on
Pirates.
a larger scale, Mitch and team, don't you think this is one of the most exciting baseball seasons there's been going into the end of August? I mean, all of these teams, you really can't count anybody out. Blue Jays, Yankees, Mets, Phillies, Tigers, obviously with Skubal if they turn it around. Can't count out Tampa Bay, Dodgers, Padres. Now Texas is making a move right now. Astros, Seattle, and I mean I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, but Milwaukee, Cubs, right? I mean, I've never seen a more, even with all the money that the Yankees and Dodgers and these other teams spent, Boston, with all the money they've spent, it's still wide open, which is amazing to me. Everybody thought the Dodgers it'll be Dodgers, Yankees, Mets. They'd all have 10-game leads. And none of that's happened. Once again, you buy all these players, but it's tough to
and with the
together a team
additional
to win games.
And we brought that up the last show I was on with the additional wild card. Not a lot of teams are out. I mean, if you look at the Atlanta Braves right now, I mean, they're 9.5 games out. They're going to have to be moderate sellers, though, right? But they're not going to be a full blowout. But I mean, with we talked about all the teams making moves to stay competitive. One of the biggest sellers here could be the Braves, and could Ozuna be one of them? Bryce Elder. I mean, they have so many pieces there. Brendan, what do you think the Braves do this week?
Well, I mean, they're certainly going to have to make some moves. I mean, they're not having the best season. You said they were 9.5 games out, I believe. So, I mean, they're definitely going to. I don't know who they move exactly. I don't know if I see Ozuna going. I don't know if I see that. But I mean, certainly, to state the obvious, what they have done to this point with the squad they have in place is not getting the job done. So obviously you have to make some moves at that point if you're serious about sneaking into the postseason, competing, et cetera, et cetera. So they're definitely going to be sellers, I would say, come the deadline.
Yeah, Vince, how surprising was it that the Braves are sellers? I mean, they started the season obviously with some injuries, but everybody just kind of thought they'd ramp up in June and kind of be right in the mix.
Yeah, I thought they would. I thought it would be them and the Phillies battling for the NL East title. And I know that every year we hear about the Mets making a big, free agent splash in the offseason. And, kudos to the Mets. I mean, they're right in the mix as well, too. But, yeah, I think that's of the National League, that's the biggest disappointment is the Atlanta Braves this year.
AL, it's got to be the Orioles. By the way, folks, I'm sticking to my guns. I'm fading Baltimore every game. I won a bet last night, the first time this season. I bet the Rockies. They beat them. I'm fading them every game between now and October 1st. They're tanking. They suck. What a disappointing team that is. Everybody thought they were going to, fight for the division, and they got to be on a par with Atlanta. And they got to sell. I mean, they got players in there that aren't even trying right now. You watch an Orioles game, okay, so I spent the $19 Saxman a month here, pisses me off, but I spent it to subscribe to MSAN or whatever that damn thing is.
Yeah,
So,
that's right. You're in our area. You're in my area now.
It's $19 a month, right? Whatever. Okay, because I want to. Well, yeah, the blackout thing. It's $19. I already paid.
Peter Angelos is lovely, isn't he?
It's like ridiculous, but I paid it, right? Because I'm an idiot. So I'm watching Orioles games because I'm betting against them every night. And I'm telling you what, this team is done. They have given up. I mean, you can tell, like you watch the Pirates. Okay, they lose. They don't give up. You watch Colorado, worst team. And I saw them last night. They won that game. I actually turned the Astro game off in the second inning. So I'm watching that game. And even they're hustling down the first base or hustling after balls. The Orioles, they're dead. They just want this thing to go away and end. Betting against them every night.
And the Orioles just they just made a trade with the Mets, who are one game up on Philly right now, right in their pennant race right now. And they got rid of Soto and brought him over to the Mets. I think that could be
The other Soto.
The other Soto.
They already have the one Soto, but
I don't think the Orioles and the Braves are going to panic sell like we got to retool the organization. They're going to go, look, it's a bad year. We'll get it back next year. We've got good depth in our organizations. We'll make some strategic moves here, but they're not going to panic. They're going to get good value.
Chris, I'll correct you on that one, because the Orioles, I think, 2-time defending NL or AL East champions, correct? The Orioles. Mm-hmm. And within, I think, the first month of the season, did they fire their manager right off the bat?
Yes.
And to me, that was a panic move from the get-go. Even if
they fired him in like May 2nd.
He's title 2
He
consecutive.
had to have lost the locker room. It's a good front office.
Good.
I mean, it's a they got. He must have lost the locker room. That's what happens, right?
Well, it hasn't helped them getting rid of him, because they haven't.
I just think at that point you're like, well, I mean, I can't speak to.
They won the division 2 years in a row.
Something they're going to open up everything and sell. They're not going to sell.
They got in the playoffs 2 years in a row. They had the home seed in the best out of 3. Right, that's the first thing, is the two out of 3. They got 4 home games. They got beat all 4 of them. They never won a playoff game, and it seemed like it almost carried over into April. Like there's something wrong with that team.
It's called pitching.
You're listening to the Godzilla Win show. I'm Mitch Rogers, joined by Brendan Statler, Vince Mayoko, Jonathan Edwards, Chris Saxman, and John Fredericks. We're talking about Major League Baseball and trade deadlines. And one thing that we haven't talked about yet is one of our lovely sponsors right down the road from me. They have Masson 1 and Masson 2 on their screens, I'm sure, when you're down there. And that's Rosie's Gaming, a dear, awesome sponsor for us. And John, I know you want to expand on that a little bit.
Racing, baby, Colonial Downs right now. It's Wednesday, it's Thursday, it's Friday, it's Saturday, post time, 12:30 p.m. except Friday night. Guess what that is? Twilight, 4 p.m. Most beautiful racetrack in the country. I've been to them all because I used to be in the business. I love going there. It's so beautiful. You got so many things. You can have an event. You can take your family. Kids get in for free under 10. You get box seats. Food is great. Atmosphere, beautiful track, beautiful day. All you got to do is go to colonialdowns.com, colonialdowns.com. Win money, have fun. Great time for the family. You can go out, see the horses. They got like 12 races. And you're going to have so much fun there. It's a absolutely gorgeous track. The majority of the races run on turf, on the grass. And it's just a lot of fun. You got great horses, great jockeys. So you're really going to enjoy it. Post time, 12:30 p.m., Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, 4 p.m. Twilight on Friday night in New Kent, Virginia, just outside of Rich Vegas. Go to Rosie's. Go to colonialdowns.com. And, of course, downstairs is all the slot machines from Rosie's Gaming, too. That's fun. And you got all the OTB. You can bet on, all that stuff. You can bet on baseball. And they do have MASN or whatever it is. They pay the $19 for that, I guess. That still pisses me off. Go to colonialdowns.com, colonialdowns.com. I don't know why I pay for MLB, get all the games, and then, like, the Orioles and the Nationals get blacked out. And I got to pay $19 a month. Like, what? For what? And they suck.
We've been dealing with this 20 years since the Nats came around. Yeah, Peter Angelos would not give all the rights up, so you get blackouts everywhere, and you got to get 2 Massins. It doesn't come on your YouTube TV. It's a show. And for anyone that's never seen the Orioles, if you've never seen them be good for 2 years and then be bad for 5 years, you just haven't been watching what Peter Angelos does with this team, and it's
he sold them.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
But they're giving up 5. They were giving up 5.13 runs a game.
You can't win.
No,
you can't win.
You can't win in baseball.
You cannot win when you do that.
That's hard.
Before we go, we got to talk about West Virginia here, and baseball coach. I got to get Vince Mayoko to weigh in here. Coach Vince Mayoko. So Steve Sabins, right? 10-year assistant under Mazey. So when Randy Mazey, who was there, built the program When he ended, his salary was $350,000. It's a matter of public record. He made $350. It's not bad, right? Not a bad gig. So Saban's has this one really good season, good young coach. So they signed him to a 5-year contract extension, 3.6 mil, which is 700,000 annually, which is double what Maisie made, double just one season ago. And he was there 15 years. He's $700,000 a year, 3.5 mil. And they got him because I guess they were afraid that, he's one of these young coaches. He knows the analytics. He knows the portal. He understands all that. He had a great run in 2025. And so he got the big contract extension. What do you think about that, Vince?
Well, congratulations to him, because I think that's probably a smart move on West Virginia's part, because you can bet if an Ole Miss or if a Georgia has a bad year next year, you don't think they're looking at a head coach from another conference, and Saban's would definitely be that type of guy that would be destined to a big time SEC program. Before we came on the air earlier today, me and Brendan were actually talking about how athletic directors have a little more stability, but head coaches can sign a 10-year, $500 million contract, and the next year they can leave to the highest bidder. And that can still happen with Saban's, unless some structure in the contract. Should he leave, does he have to recoup back to West Virginia the signing bonus or whatever? I mean, that's a legal matter there. But obviously, West Virginia likes the direction, and who wouldn't, the direction that their baseball program is going, with 2 back-to-back super regional appearances, and the facility upgrade. And obviously, West Virginia is a huge part of the portal process, getting kids from other big-time programs to come and become Mountaineers. So, smart move for West Virginia.
And I'll tell you what, on the national stage, when he was in the regionals and the super regionals, and when he was interviewed in the dugouts, he was so electric. Like, every university and every AD saw that as well. Like, he just shows this. You could see the team rallying around him. He looks just a couple years older than the players. So he just gave himself the best leverage position ever to get this. And kudos to him. And I got the honor of talking to Jeff and Logan Save this week. And they spoke about when Logan was in 8th grade and how great Saban's was at, not even really it's recruiting, but just becoming a friend. And they just spoke about how great of a person and a recruiter he is. So very happy for this move. And it's one of the first positive moves we've had in a while, after losing basketball coaches and stuff. So Brendan, I mean, you got to be ecstatic too, right?
Oh yeah, certainly. I mean, do I need to say anything more than just look at what he did his first season here as the head coach? I mean, it was a tremendous first season, getting to the super regionals. And I think his squad's only going to get better next year. They're just going to keep climbing that hill. The whole what's the mantra in West Virginia? Trust the climb. They're just going to keep climbing. I like some of the players that they've brought in. Looking at some of them that they brought in, these look like really good acquisitions, or whatever you want to call them. I'm excited for the next season. I think they're going to be even better than last.
Yeah,
one thing
question on this.
Them do, and I know that in the first year, we talked about this several months ago with the non-conference schedule in February and early March. That's something that West Virginia, they need to upgrade their non-conference schedule early on and go to and play, whether it's a West Coast trip or a couple trips to Florida, but they need to upgrade that from a standpoint where, if they make a deep run into the regionals and super regionals, they're actually hosting instead of going on the road. And that's a tough nut to crack when you have to go on the road in a regional or a super regional. And getting those RPI, that's huge. It's huge in football, basketball, and obviously RPI.
He says he's not going to do it. He was asked that question about the weakness of the schedule. He's not going to do it. He says he's going to basically do the same thing. So I agree with you. I thought the schedule at the beginning of the season for them was like a clown show. I mean, it was basically he was playing D2, D3 caliber teams. But that's his philosophy.
Still worked out.
When you win those kind of games, it's like, why change, right?
Absolutely.
We got to get to the top of the hour, Mitch.
Yeah, we're at the top of the hour. Big things happening with West Virginia sports. If you want to hear more about West Virginia sports, go to wvsportsnation.com. We're going to get to the second hour of the show. More Major League Baseball talk coming up and some tributes to some fallen heroes. We'll be back right after this.
The best part about waking up in the morning is a great cup of coffee, and I get this every day with my 1775 coffee. It's rich, it's bold, best tasting coffee I've ever had. Single origin, farmed in Bolivia, 7,000 feet. It's always fresh, roasted daily. This is the best coffee you're ever going to get. Go to 1775coffee.com, 1775coffee.com. Promo code Godzilla, 10% off. It's going to make your day every day.
I'm Dr. Kirk Elliott, founder of Kirk Elliott Precious Metals. After more than a decade in this industry, I knew there was a better way. And it's an exciting time to invest in gold and silver with the most significant bull market I've ever seen. But please, don't overpay for your stuff. At KEPM, we focus on bullion only and no commission when you sell. We'd love to connect with you, so call our office at 720-605-3900 or go to kepm.com/Godzilla.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work. Try to see a doctor this week or sit hours in a crowded waiting room at urgent care.
I have a smarter option for you. Open your medical emergency kit. Match your symptoms to doctor-recommended prescription in your booklet and take the right meds now and get well faster.
This is not a first aid kit. It's like having an urgent care in your home. It includes doctor-prescribed medications to treat over 39 medical issues like respiratory infections, strep throat, pneumonia, UTIs, and more.
No waiting to see the doctor and no standing in line at the pharmacy. It's right here.
Every home should have at least one medical emergency kit, and here's how to order.
Order online fast and save $45. Your kit with prescriptions to treat common and life-saving illnesses is rushed to your door. Visit twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla.
Did you know that somebody could literally steal your house? Yeah, that is a thing that happens. It is when a criminal forges your signature on one document, uses one fake notary stamp, and then spends about $30, $40 with the county recorder. They then take out loans using your home equity as collateral. And the worst part of it is, you don't even know it's happening until you start getting collections and foreclosure notices. Most people don't check on their home title because why would you feel like you needed to? But this right here is why you need to use Home Title Lock. They have a $1 million triple lock protection that helps keep your home and equity safe. It includes 24/7 monitoring with protection immediately, urgent alerts in case there's any changes in your title. Then if fraud does happen, they have a US-based restoration team that will spend up to $1 million to fix the fraud and restore your title.
Find out if you're already a victim. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now.
John Fredericks, he's America's Godzilla of Truth. All week long, he's world-renowned for his proficient proclivity to prophesy the people's political picks with pinpoint precision.
Yeah, baby!
Then, on the weekends, he gets with the guys that are pretty wise, and Godzilla wins. Godzilla Wins, the sports picking show for winning dough. Money lines, parlays, over-under, the best plays. You choose the game, Godzilla picks the winners. Get expert analysis, exclusive insights, and have a little fun. When the game is on your mind and money's on the line, Godzilla Wins is your guide to picking winners. Godzilla Wins, on the screens of your TV and favorite devices, commanding radio airwaves far and wide. Before you make that play, hear what the Godzilla crew has to say. Presented by WestVirginiaSportsNation.com, it's time for Godzilla Wins, all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Oh yeah.
For entertainment purposes only.
Welcome back to Godzilla Wins. I'm here with Brendan Statler, Vince Mayoko, John Fredericks will be back. I am Mitch Rogers. In the first hour, we went over Trump's executive order that's trying to bring some kind of normalcy or something to the NCAA to make all of this the money that's going around fair for everyone out there. It was a really great discussion. If you want to go back and listen to that, it's the first 20, 30 minutes of the show. Thought it very important. We've been doing Major League Baseball. To close that hour out, we're going to start with some Major League Baseball here. Also in this hour, we might talk about Happy Gilmore too. A couple of us saw that also. And man, if you're a Gen Xer, we lost some people this year with this week, Malcolm Jamal Warner. I mean, that was huge. Ozzy Osbourne, that hurt, and Hulk Hogan hurt even worse. So we'll get to that, do some tributes to that, but very excited to be on for the second hour of the show. Remember, if you're a gambler, bet responsibly. It's for entertainment purposes only. Our show is. If you have an issue with it, please dial 1-800-GAMBLER. Talk to them. They could help you with that as well. We are here, Godzilla Wins pick show, but we'll do some picks on the bottom of the hour. This might be the last show where we don't have NFL football on the on the docket, which is just surprising, but I'll take it because it's going to be full football coming up with college and with the NFL coming up. Also, hey, we're not just a podcast; we're a radio show. We're on multiple radio stations, and if you want to call in and be part of the conversation, please do. 888-480-5646. 888-480-5646. Come and enjoy this show that is brought to you by Rosie's Game Emporium and MyPillow. And also for any West Virginia needs, go to wvsportsnation.com. Sticking with Major League Baseball, we talked about the Pirates a little bit, but one of the most surprising teams in baseball right now are the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, baby.
Who would have thought that the Cincinnati Reds would be sitting a few games over 500 in the mix? And they're a team that obviously thought they were going to be building and maybe be, the kind of the hybrid seller buyers at this point to try to build for next year. But Brendan, they should play for the now, right? I mean, what do they do? I mean, they've got so many top prospects too. Like, what do they do here? They're in a dangerous position potential.
I actually like the position they're in right now. They're playing great baseball. They're hitting the ball well. They have a tremendous bullpen and pitching rotation. I think they're on the right track right now. I mean, it might see some moves. I don't want to say that they're absolutely not going to make any moves or trade deadline because it's rare that teams stay completely out of a trade during the trade deadline. But I don't see a lot changing for Cincinnati. A lot of the pieces are working pretty well that they have right now.
Yeah, you're not gonna trade top prospects for like Eugenio Suarez, right, Vince?
Right.
I mean, you're not gonna do that to the Cincinnati.
De La Cruz is a beast.
What an exciting team! What an exciting team they are to watch, and just great for Terry Francona, one of the greatest managers in the history of baseball. In fact, I think the University of Arizona baseball stadium is named after him. I guess he played there. But if you watch them, they're just an exciting team. I mean, they got good pitching. They got good young players. They're exciting. They're fast. They steal bases. They play good defense. They win a lot of games 3-2. So, they're not beating you 10-9. They're beating you 2-1, 3-2, extra innings. It's a fun, young, exciting team to watch.
100%.
You think we'll see Sal Stewart this year?
But it's good.
And Vince, any chance they bring up that the AAA prospect?
The problem is with the smaller revenue teams in Major League Baseball, they're very hesitant about bringing up their future franchise players too early because their clock starts right when it comes contract wise. We saw that 7-8 years ago with the Cubs, where they were hesitant to bring up Chris Bryant early because it would start his clock. So I think probably it might be best just to kind of put the kid, let him finish out his minor league season. But I'm telling you, the Reds they're interesting. They're very interesting. And you know what? If they get that last wild card spot, which they very easily could at this point in time with a run, they're kind of a scary team. It's almost like, a young team almost doesn't really even, okay, we're in the playoffs, no big deal. They don't really overanalyze it. And kind of getting back to what you guys were talking about the trades and everything, sometimes the best trade you make is no trade at all.
Yeah, and I think Brendan makes a good point, Chris. With the Reds, I think what's a parallel I'm starting to see is the Pirates could be in the same position in a year if they were able to manage their team correctly. And I hate bringing it back to that, but we have the same kind of pieces. We just obviously didn't get enough bats there. But the Reds standing firm would seem to make a little bit more sense than bringing up somebody and losing a year.
Well, when you talk about teams like making these moves, and we're Pittsburgh centric. A lot of our conversation because of where the stations are, but I think these are object lessons in how to manage the smaller ball clubs in a non-salary cap league, and that's just the nature of economics, isn't it? You could have an oil tycoon buy the Pirates, Mark Cuban come in and say, I don't care, I'm going to spend this thing into the ground, and I'm going to buy a World Series, but that doesn't happen for small market teams. And until you have a salary cap and a salary floor, you're not going to have the competitive parity that you have. But what it's shown, the conversation we've had today, gentlemen, I think shows the brilliance of the game of baseball and why you can have these teams do so well and other teams that you thought were going to do well and don't, is because of the nature of the game itself. And that's what's so brilliant about this game and why it's so exciting, John, you brought up earlier. And I think the pitch clock has helped. I mean, it's fun to watch a 2.5 hour game, 3 hour game, and not take up the entire game, like 3 or 4 hours. My God, how long am I going to be here? It's more entertaining. People are more engaged. That's just the brilliance of the game. So I've yielded on the designated hitter and the time clock over time, but the pitch clock over time. But that's the brilliance of the game, and that the fact that we can even have Milwaukee Brewers, competitive and a real World Series possibility.
Did they win again? Did they win again last night, Milwaukee? Did anybody check that?
Just stab me in the chest.
Well, the beauty about Major League Baseball and why we have it so prominent on our schedule today is because during the trade deadline for Major League Baseball fans and fanatics, it's not even just about the games. It's also about how you manage teams. Rotisserie leagues have been around for 30, 40, 50 years. So people really get into the intricacies of what goes on with management right now in this week. And the teams that I look at are like the teams in the last wild card spot, like the San Diego Padres. Like, what do you do here? Like, it's almost that they're almost the same thing as what the Reds do. Do they just sit there? Do they make moves knowing that they might only get the last wild card spot for a hope at a run? I mean, they've had, Manny Machado and Tatis have just not performed well. Do they just hope that they start performing well and just sit pat again? So it's almost like, Brendan, it's almost like the same thing the Reds are dealing with, right, in San Diego.
Yeah, they're definitely similar situations, but I don't think that San Diego has as much going for them as Cincinnati does. I think that they are moderate sellers at the deadline. They're not going to do anything crazy like get rid of their two big stars that you just named earlier. But they're gonna make some moves. Pitching seems to be, not that I pay attention to the Padres a lot, but a lot of what I've gathered from the Padres is their pitching struggles. They seem to struggle going late into the bullpen.
Well, listen, they lost 4 in a row. They lost 4 in a row. It seems like every time they make a run this season, right? Every time they get to 2 or 3 games with the Dodgers, they go on a losing streak. I mean, they just dropped another 4 in a row. And they're only got I think a game lead over the Giants, who have had a horrible second half. They only got a 1-game lead over them for the final seed in that wild card. So every time you think the Padres are getting untracked, they lose 4 or 5 in a row. So, but they're just a dangerous team, because anytime you play them, they got all those great players. They got. Yeah. Anytime you play them, they can win, especially in these short series. I think they're the worst nightmare for the Dodgers. Right. The Giants, though, they need 4 games over 500. They just don't hit. They scored another 1-run last night. They scored two games in Atlanta. They scored 9 runs, and Devers hit 2 homers in 1 game. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe they're finally getting untracked. Then they get beat at home last time, but the Mets score 1 run again.
The Giants and the Padres have 2 of the worst offenses in the league. and they're still in contention. Look for them to buy some bats. The question is, what can they sell along the way? I mean, the Padres have like the fourth best run score against in the entire league, and they only have a run differential of 11 runs. If they had some more bats, consistent bats, guys can steal bases, they could be a very dangerous team in the playoffs.
Yeah, but they have the bats on paper. I mean, you look at that lineup on paper.
But the lineup's not producing.
I know.
Oh God. Well, some of them are scary. Obviously, not all, and they have to click. There has to be that there's always that chemistry player that brings a team in towards the end that goes, "This was the guy." It doesn't have to be a big homer guy or stolen base guy, but that gritty ball player who grinds it out every day and comes up with those timely hits and just finds a way to get on base and just grind it out. And when you go up against the Dodgers and the Giants in the late season, even the Diamondbacks are still going to be good, even though they're giving up on the season if they're trading. You know, San Diego has always been on the cusp. Someone's got to break through. They got to do something.
There's one team the Dodgers do not want to play in the postseason, and that would be the San Diego Padres.
Yep.
That's a bad matchup. Last year, you think about it, the Padres, they probably should have beat the Dodgers in that playoff series. They were I think they were games to 1, I believe, in the best of 5 series. The Padres are a tough matchup for the Dodgers. So I think the Padres are more likely right now to probably go all in, because who knows, this could be their last shot at a playoff run with Machado, Tatis, and some of the other cast of characters they have on that roster. I think they're built to win right now if they can pick up a piece or two down the stretch here. And boy, if they make the playoffs, the Dodgers are probably hoping we don't want them in the first round.
You know, the other interesting thing is all of a sudden, Texas, half game out of the final wild card in the AL, just from nowhere, right? They were like 5-6 games back, writing the season off. All of a sudden, you wake up one day, they sweep a couple teams. They're only a half game back.
Yeah, and they've got some bullpen depth, right, that they could trade off to try to bolster their team at all. Are the Astros afraid at all of the Texans?
No, they're not going to win the division. I mean, I think. Look, I'm so confident, guys, and I don't mean to be this way. We got a 5-game lead, but we're winning. It's like the triple Astros. I mean, 6 of these guys in May were in AAA or double A ball. The whole team's hurt, but they're all coming back. I mean, if they were out for the season, you know, it's just inevitable you start losing. But they're all coming back sometime in August. And when they get back, and the other thing that happens is, you know, they were hurt, so they're all rested. So, like, you know, they come back at the end or the third week in August. You know, these are they don't have a lot of mileage under them in this season. So, you know, Pena got 2 months off, Alvarez got 3 months off, Myers got 2 months off. So, you know, you got all of that coming back. So I'm pretty confident. I don't think I think the Astros should do anything. Just get your players back and you're going to be fine.
You listen to the Godzilla Win Show, talking Major League Baseball trade deadline moves and what we're thinking is going to happen. Some good pennant races going on, or good division races going on, especially in the National League East and Central. So lots to look out for there. Going around the league, we put on here on our format, Rich Hill. We got to watch out for steroids, right? He's on PED watch, 45 years old, coming back. Just came back.
He definitely has taken REM sleep from Healthy Cell. There's no way you can come back and pitch a major league game at 45 years old if you're not a Healthy Cell buyer of REM sleep and focus. There's no way. There's only way he could pitch is if he did this. And this is going to give you the best night's sleep ever. Go to healthycell.com, one of our sponsors here forever. I'm traveling today. I got to go pick up Ann and the cat and all that. But man, first thing I do is I pack my REM sleep because I know I'm going to get a good night's sleep. 15 minutes before I go to bed, all natural. You dream, you get in that deep sleep, and you jump up out of bed. You feel great. You got your Jesus sheets. You got your REM sleep. You got your My Pillows. Life is good. So that's why I got all this energy at my age. Now I'm 67, so I'm a little older than Rich Hill. But all you got to do is go to healthycell.com, promo code Godzilla, and get your REM sleep there. I take it every night. Best thing that you can do for your body. And they also got the vitamins there. I take the Bio multivitamins. It's a gel pack. I down them every day. Got my REM sleep, and I'm healthy as an ox. Go to healthycell.com, Get your REM sleep now, Killer Carl. Promo code Godzilla, 20% off. Did I say that? I'm saving you money. Promo code Godzilla, 20% off.
20% off. Rich Hill. And by the way, that was just a joke about PEDs. Just look at his picture. He's definitely not on PEDs. Just throwing that one out there. But Rich Hill, 45 years old.
You're focused on fiber. Okay.
Yeah. Well, what I hate is I'm at the age where I'm like, yeah, he's old. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm 3 years older than even the oldest guy in the major league. So yeah, that's but yeah, he was called up by the Kansas City Royals. He pitched 5 innings, 1 earned run through 90 pitches. 90 pitches. And we're pulling Skeens at 78 so he can pitch in an all-star game. It is pretty fantastic. And especially, and I brought that up because the last time we had a mid-40s guy, and Roger Clemens, he obviously was doing some of the wrong stuff. But to see someone just being able to do that, and I think it really goes out, even the supplements and stuff, there's just a lot of legal stuff that you can take to kind of stay in better shape in your 40s. And we have a lot of that stuff on your website. And also Rich Hill must be on Healthy Cell. There's just no question about it. No question about it. We're going around the league too. Ohtani, man, this kid, I mean, obviously he's pitching now. He's hit home runs in 5 straight games. Brendan, is it even fair to have this guy in the league?
No, it is not. And he's showing why he is the current face of Major League Baseball. Not only is he a threat with his pitching, he swings a better bat than anyone else in the league right now. I mean, he is unstoppable. It's just, you almost have to ask yourself, how can you even pitch to this guy? I mean, 5 games in a row he's hitting home runs. That's unbelievable. I wonder what the record is for most consecutive games, but Ohtani, best in the league, period.
John, what can you say about this guy? He joins notables like Mac Muncy, Adrian Gonzalez, and that rare 5 consecutive home runs. And we'll probably get another one today.
It's a beautiful thing to watch. He's a great athlete. He's a great guy. He's still signing autographs for fans, all the money he makes. He deferred his salary to help the Dodgers be competitive over a long period of time. It's just a wonderful story, and watching him play is exciting. He's an exciting player to watch, and he can hit, he can pitch, he can throw, he plays everything. Kind of an anomaly, whatever you want, but the pride in Japan they watch every game he plays over there. It's all broadcast back. I mean, it's just internationally, it's a wonderful thing. For baseball, it's a wonderful thing. And I root for the Dodgers to lose, but I root for him to do well.
Brendan, ChatGPT, you called, it answered the home run record is 8. And Pirates centric, baby. Dale Long for the Pirates in 1956, Don Mattingly also in 1987, and Ken Griffey Jr. So 3 guys have gone 8. I remember the Ken Griffey Jr. one. I remember that one. Any chance, Chris, that he gets to 9?
Oh, sure. There's a chance. It's a great bet. Why not bet on that? You could take your winnings from the Baltimore Orioles. That's a Johnson placing and let it ride on Ohtani. But before we leave the age-centric conversation here, I do want to mention how we talk about Rich Hill and talk about anomalies that he is. This is his 14th team. Now he's with the Royals. But let's not forget the GOAT, Nolan Ryan, at the age of 46, through his last pitch at 98 miles an hour. That's nuts. And that's crazy. That's the statistical anomalies and the curiosities and the extraordinaries of Major League Baseball never ceases to amaze me. Look at Acuna's throw the other day. The crazy stuff, this kid for Oakland last night, the A's, whatever they call themselves now. That's just one of the great things about baseball is you see a guy like, we make fun of Rich Hill because he's old. He's like Eddie Harris from the movie Major League, right? He's probably got Crisco on his chest and, Ben Gay under his ear, blowing snot because he has rubbed up some jalapenos in his nose or whatever. And you got Rich Hill throwing all kinds. Jamie Moyer. My God, how long is that guy in the league? Is he still in the league? He in the book Moneyball, Moyer comes off the mound and goes to the batter after you like fouled off 8 pitches. He goes, "Where do you want the pitch? I don't have that many pitches in my arm today. Just throw me where it is, and I'll throw you a ground ball. Hopefully get you out of here." But let's tip the hat to Nolan Ryan for 46 throwing 98 miles an hour when he blew out his arm.
And I heard like 3 years ago when he threw a first pitch, it was still over 80, and he's like in his 60s.
85.
It's absolutely crazy. Oh, I got a little message saying Ohtani's streak ended last night to the Red Sox.
Oh,
He's done. Yeah, sorry. ChatGPT.
It's a great bet.
Well, guys, so we don't run out of time because I got to drive to Pittsburgh today, and this is get Ann here and the cat and everything. I'm hot, and when I get hot, you want to follow me. When I'm cold, you want to fade me. But I'm hot right now. I got 4 plays. Normally, I don't have this many in baseball, but I got 4 plays. Number 1, Blue Jays plus 162 in Detroit over Skubal. Detroit's got to win a game, and I just don't see it. I think this team is going to continue to lose. I think the pressure on Skubal now is intense. If they get behind early, they're done. So I'm going to take the Bucks 62 on Toronto. That's my number 1 play of the day. I'm fading the Orioles again. I'm taking Colorado plus 213. So I'm getting over 2-1 odds. I'm betting against the Orioles every day. I don't care who they're playing, what time the game is, home, away. They've quit. And so at the end of the season, I'm going to be up big. I like the Rangers at home. They're winning minus 116 today, so I like them. Atlanta's another team that's packed it in, so I like them. And I definitely love the Astros today, minus 193. You get beat 20-3. You got your ace going the next day. You're going to win that game at home. So those are my 4 plays today. Astros minus 193, Colorado plus 213, Texas and Toronto, 3 of the 4 underdogs. Not bad.
I see what you're doing. You're going down and taking all those big spreads, taking one side or the other. I like that.
Normally I don't do that because, spreads are fine, but you got to win the bet. If you tear up the ticket, the fact that you got 213 or 100 doesn't matter if it goes into garbage, right?
UFC fight last week, it was minus 600, and my $50 would win $8, and I lost.
Yeah, I mean, if you take the dog and you take the long odds, once in a while you're going to hit. But I make bets based on who I think is going to win the game. And so if I happen to be getting 213, fine. A lot of people take those long odds but they don't win enough to make it up. So, but I like those games.
And if you haven't been following us when it was Godzilla Wins Pick Show, John is the master at NHL hockey. When does the preseason start there? Is that September? Do you do preseason hockey or do we wait till October?
No, I don't do preseason anything. But I did good. If you follow me on Godzilla Wins, I did great in hockey. I did great in baseball. I had great winning margins. Football, horrible. College football, worse.
Absolutely. Hey, remember, we do a little gambling discussion. So bet responsibly. It's for entertainment purposes only. 1-800-GAMBLER if you have any issues at all. Write these down. John's on fire right now, and we'll do some more picks also later in the show. I'm excited to see how some of those bets roll out. The Orioles have Rodgers. He's pitching so well right now, but at some point his ERA has to get above 2. And so I like that play right there. Going also around the league too, Bryce Harper, one of the kids that I got to watch here at the Nationals, watch him, grow up and then get shipped off to Philly. He has hit his 350th career home run. Vince, where do you put Bryce Harper? Obviously, came out, was one of the top prospects ever. Little heated, hot head, got in a couple fights in the Nats. Didn't have the best reputation in the world. Going to Philadelphia, we kind of mocked it over here in Washington, like, oh, he's not gonna like that. It's that market, that media. He has seemed to embrace it, blend right in, and even as a semi-Nationals fan, he feels like he belongs in Philly.
I'm glad you called upon me, Mitch. So I where I'm at, Taft College, we do a lot of recruiting in Las Vegas. So I'm dating myself. 15 years ago, I don't know. I'm in Las Vegas watching Las Vegas high school play. And I'm watching this game. That's a good looking catcher. And one of the parents, well, who's the catcher? Oh, you don't know who that is? Well, no clue. That's Bryce Harper. And I'm going, well, what college is he going to next year? He said, he's a freshman in high school. And I'm going, seriously? I mean, he looked like he was 25 years of age as a freshman in high school. And he said, and the parent says, you got to see him pitch. So later in that game, Harper comes in to pitch and he's pumping 95 off the bump. I kid you not. He takes one deep and he's a freshman in high school. He goes back to Las Vegas High School for a sophomore year, gets his GED, goes to College of Southern Nevada, and he's the only NC2A player, non-NC2A player to win the Golden Spikes Award as a JUCO player. Best college player in the country, wins it as a JUCO player. So from an early age, Harper has, been the big fish in a big pond, I guess, so to speak. And really, from what I saw as a 14 or 15-year-old, as a freshman in high school, none of this surprises me. I mean, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Chris, he is a Philadelphia Philly through and through, it looks like. And it's been pretty remarkable how his career arc has changed, especially from just from a standpoint of acceptability and likability.
Yeah, I had the privilege of having lunch with the Washington Nationals, one of those preseason, mashup where they have all the sponsors and all the players. And I was surprised at how thin he was. I mean, he broad-shouldered. You could see the bone structure was thick, but his hips were like 32-inch hips. I'm like, no wonder you're generating so much bat speed. Your hips are getting through the zone so quickly. I mean, I was like stunned. His physical composition. I was like, God, that's a ball player. You just look at him and you go, wow. He's like, you talk about Vince and seeing the kid as a freshman. Just to see the guy jump off the page like that. But the career arc, I don't think it's been there as much as I think we would have expected it to be. Because Mike Trout and Bryce Harper, those are the names, and it's just like it hasn't really gotten to that next level of greatness, has it? Very good ball players, first ballot Hall of Famers, but they were so built up coming out of college to JUCO ranks. I just expected it to be. There's always that lull in the careers, but can they make it 20 years to get up to pile up the numbers? It's been, I don't want to say a disappointment. It hasn't been all that. I guess that's the best way to say it. It just hasn't been all that. But the problem was it was built up so much, and I don't think it was possible to hit with the expectations.
That's really good. Hey, Saxman, that's really good analysis. I never really thought about that.
He's had kind of a nonchalant since the lull, though. He is built up to be one of the best players, won an MVP in that stretch. He's the youngest active player to get to 350 career home runs. He joins an elite group. Only 8 active players that have this: Stanton, Trout, Goldschmidt, Machado, Freeman, Judge, and Nolan Arenado. He's slowly building up. And if he gets a World Series and gets a chip, Brendan, I mean, he's going to be considered one of the greatest of all time.
Oh, certainly a future Hall of Famer at that point, though, not even a question. That's just the one thing it's missing. He hasn't gotten the World Series ring yet. But, I mean, one of the greatest hitters in the game in the last 15, 20 years. I mean, it's remarkable to see what he's done. I think he's gotten even better and become a more complete player since going to Philadelphia. I mean, yeah, he was really good in Washington, but he has reached a whole new level with the Phillies.
Absolutely. And he's not just piling up homers, right? He's the 14th player in MLB history to do 1,000 RBIs and 1,000 runs, 1,000 walks before the age of 33. Barry Bonds, Babe Ruth, Gehrig, and Mickey Mantle are the only other ones to do that. So, and in Major League Baseball, where we are stat nerds, and we will read that when you retire, once he's done, and especially if he gets, like we said, the World Series, he is going to be considered one of the greats. And, and kudos to him too. Like that's an amazing thing. What do you think the Phillies' chances in the near future?
They're fine. I just don't see a breakout season for them. They could get some great moves here at the trade deadline and move up. They could be a very exciting, fun ball club, Schwarber and the rest. But if we get back to Bryce Harper, this is his 14th year. It's a long time.
When you
That's
get
a
into
long-
these, when you get into these short playoffs, best out of fives, right? Which I think are the first one before we get to the two best of sevens. You get to these short playoffs, the team with the best back of the bullpen wins, period. If you look at it year and year and year, if you don't have a back end of that bullpen going, you are not going to win a short series if you're playing a team that does. And so you look at a lot of these teams. If you look at Philadelphia, bullpen, okay. It's scary into 3 out of 5, because if you've got a team that, if you got a lead going in the 7th inning, like I'm an Astro fan, if we got the lead after 6 innings, we're going to win that game, period. Right? You're the Dodgers. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? Same thing with Philadelphia. Same thing with the Mets. I mean, the Mets, I bet them the other day. I can't remember who they were playing. They put Diaz in. He's had a good season. Then their closer, they put in Ryan Stenek, that we got rid of like 3 seasons ago. And the guy's like hitting people, walking people. They ended up winning the game. Somebody hit a long fly ball. But if you don't have the back end of that pen in a short series, you're at high risk to get beat. And if you do, put you in a much better position. That's why Milwaukee, with that pitching and that back end of that pen, good luck beating them. That's the problem with Chicago. They don't. I mean, Presley hasn't really been that good this season, not like he was with us, and so they don't have the back end of that pen. And so, if you can shorten these games to 7 innings, look out.
Yeah. Well, and to go to the question on Bryce Harper, even Mike Trout, probably more so Mike Trout than Bryce Harper. If you're not on a team that can put you in a position to show your greatness in the playoffs, you just don't have that moment. And I think especially Major League Baseball, when you change teams, I think it erodes the brand, the long-term brand that has become one of the problems, I think, of free agency. Yeah, you make a lot of money, but when you leave a team and you go to a rival in your own division, I will never understand that. I will never understand that. I will never understand that. It just erodes part of the game, and I think it takes away from the long-term branded greatness of ball players. And Bryce Harper's one of the best to ever play the game. Talent's there, longevity seems to be there. He's producing, but when you move and your team doesn't win, you don't get to the World Series win that Brendan was talking about. Mike Trout is going to chase that forever. And when you start matching up the GOAT conversations and all these, which I think are the banal conversations anyway, LeBron versus Michael, you go, how many championships, right? Show me the real greatness at the times when you need to be great. And I think that's one of the differences on his long-term, I don't want to say brand, but vibe, just the conversation.
It'll be interesting to see. The Nats may just be a blip in his career radar because it was so early on. He just might attain that. He might attain that. You're listening to Godzilla Wins. I'm Mitch Rogers with Brendan Statler, Vince Mayoko, Chris Saxman, and John Fredericks. All I know is to be 32 and be in the league for 12, 13 years already, you have to be well rested. You have to be going to mypillow.com and trying to, Giza sheets, slippers. If you have a pet, they even have a section for pets, John. It's a pretty full functional, all everything website.
I'm just thrilled to have you back as the host. Thank you. Because I'm going to get out of here in a couple of minutes. But hey, I got to ask, I know that Jack does the rundown and we do a pretty good job following it, Jack. Thank you, doing a super job. Plus, go to WVSportsNation.com. Mitch is our featured columnist there, WVSportsNation.com. Get all your West Virginia sports. I just got my Maryland, Andy just got me my Maryland Terps cup, right?
It's very weird, Brendan. I'm sure it's weird for you too. Like Brendan, Maryland is sort of
my Maryland cup here. I go to the desk and they're like, Mr. Fredericks, you got a package here. And I'm like, who sent me a package? Because immediately I'm like, was it a bomb in there? I did, you got to be a little bit.
I guess we can root for Joe. We can root for Joe, Brendan. That's all. All in the Maryland world. We're only rooting for Joe.
That's
nobody else.
Yeah,
Joe,
that would be we're rooting for in this.
Joe can really make a difference on that team because they hit like crazy. They score a bunch of runs, and but the bullpen last season was not very stellar. A lot of those players are not there anymore, but he can really make a difference. So we're looking forward to it. The other thing is fear the turtle. The other thing is they're telling me, I don't know who I was talking to, one of the other dads there, but he was saying that it's the smallest dimension ballpark in the Big Ten. And they have very fast artificial turf on it, but he says like fly balls fly out of there. They're just homers. They just fly out. So what benefits Joe is he's a ground ball pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one of the reasons they signed him. Because even if he has a tougher outing that you have once in a while, nobody ever hits a fly ball off him. It's all grounders, and some of them get through or whatever. But Vince, I think that bodes well because that thing, I understand it's the smallest ballpark in the Big Ten, Maryland.
Yeah, you want ground ball pitchers if you got a small park, and if you got a big park, you want fly ball pitchers. So.
And for those of us just joining us, the reason why we have such expertise in transfer portals and nil is John has a son, Joe, who was formerly with West Virginia pitching there. He has now transferred to Maryland. So John knows the inner workings, knows the websites to go on, knows everything you need to do to get your kid to a new school, that's you don't read about that. You don't read about how to do that. And I've done some stuff with the with the trust over at West Virginia and researching for articles, and it's crazy that exchange. I mean, they basically have their pictures up, and hey, I'll come to your birthday party. I'll come sign this. I'll pay me $20. So it's a weird world right now. But we wish the best for Joe, and we will root for Maryland when he's on the hill.
At least he didn't go to Pitt. At least
if you would have done that,
it'd been worse.
No, he didn't go to Pitt. But I tell you, people ask me a lot about it, and you learn as you go. I had no idea. We had no idea what it was, but we had great advisors helping us. Coach Vince Mayoko here was really the key to this. He was advising us really from the middle of the season in West Virginia when things weren't going Joe's way, as far as not getting enough appearances. He got Joe to go to the West Coast League. He got him out there. He said he was, he just needed innings and get some things straightened out. He put him with the right team, got him with the right pitching coach, and then his agent did a great job in getting him the opportunity that is best suited for him, that met his criteria. Best pitching coach, likes the culture, opportunity to make a difference. But it takes a lot of people to do this, and Coach Vince was really he was the catalyst of it for it all. So
That's
Vince,
awesome.
Ann and I really appreciate what you've done, the mentoring you've given him when he was down, and trying to help him navigate his way through it. Without Coach Vince and his help, Joe would not be at Maryland. So thank you, Vince.
Well, I appreciate it. I was hoping we'd be able to get him on the West Coast. I was hoping maybe Fresno State.
Vince, he was 12 hours from going to Loyola Marymount, 12 hours away. And then Maryland, he told Maryland that he was going to get an offer the next day. And of course, we were ecstatic. Loyola Marymount is a great school. It was a great opportunity for him. Jesuit Catholic. So mom was very happy. Even though we'd be 3,000 miles away, you're at a Catholic college. She's happy. And so they were going to make him an offer the next day. They had met with him. They went to a game. They talked to him, and they're like, yeah, we got to get the stuff together and just give us until tomorrow. And Joe was talking to Maryland, and, like he did the right thing. He called his agent, and he called the Maryland coach up and said, Loyola's going to make me an offer tomorrow. I'm going to go. And he thought that would be the end of it. And they're like, give me 20 minutes. And so it just, it went on. It kind of steamrolled. They made him an offer that night, and he, asked us, and we're like, always said to him, does it meet the criteria you laid out, which was number one, pitching coach, make me get better. That's number one thing, pitching coach. Number two, culture of the team, head coach, the culture. And number three, am I going to get an opportunity to contribute and be a good part of that team that helped him win? And that met all three. And so he went there. The offer was excellent, so we went. And so rather than 3,000 miles away, he's 3 miles away. It's a little bit different.
And what a new world. We're talking about agents. We just came off 12 years ago, someone got suspended for eating free crab legs, and now you can have an agent and get hundreds of thousands of dollars. So no, we would, like I said, Brendan and I will be following Maryland when he is on the Hill. That's it though. That's it.
Absolutely.
You're listening to the Godzilla Win Saturday show. I'm Mitch Rogers, joined by Brendan Statler, Vince Mayoko, Chris Saxman, and John Fredericks. I'd be remiss, and any other Gen Xers out there, it was a bad week. We lost Malcolm Jamal Warner, Theo Huxtable from The Cosby Show. We lost Hulk Hogan, and we lost Ozzy Osbourne. And I was fans of all three, but Ozzy was a big one, and I wasn't even over that yet. But then when Hulk Hogan, and I don't care about the politics side of it, Hulk Hogan, if you were a kid in the 80s, if you are over 40 years old at all, that guy had some impact on your life, whether it was Hulkamania in the 80s, whether it was him fighting Andre the Giant, whether it was the greatest heel turn ever at WCW. Anyone impacted. Who's a big Hulk Hogan fan? Vince. What was his impact, and that was shocking this week?
Oh, gut-wrenching. And to look through social media and see the different clips. But I want to go back to Rocky III, where Hulk Hogan was only the true diehards of wrestling knew who Hulk Hogan was at that point in time. But all of a sudden, this character called Thunderlips appeared fighting Rocky in Rocky III. And I'm going, who is this beast? And obviously, the rest came to fruition. But, we talk about the politics, but I think it's worth noting. I mean, his address at the RNC last summer played a huge part of President Trump's election. But more importantly, to actually see his commitment and his turnaround to accept Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior. I think that really brought the whole thing home to see, wow, okay, here's a guy that was on top of the world, bought into the entertainment aspect of it, and to see where he came and where he ended up, he's in a great place. I mean, there's no doubt, okay, that Hulk Hogan is in heaven right now. But you think about it, I didn't realize this. Hulk Hogan was a very good baseball player.
Right.
And another wrestling icon, Randy Macho Man Savage, actually played baseball in the Cincinnati Reds organization. So it's interesting. You see baseball players become great wrestlers. So maybe when Joe's career is done, John, maybe he can become a professional wrestler.
Maybe they were all out in that Balco area out in the 80s. It seems like something was running around through Major League Baseball. Brendan, you're a little younger. Are you a wrestling fan, Hulk Hogan fan?
I used to be a big wrestling fan back in the early 2000s, when I was a kid growing up. But of course, everybody knows who Hulk Hogan is. I mean, a true American icon, what could I say about the guy that Vince didn't already say? I mean, he paved the way for, the wrestlers we see today. Even Dana White, the president of the UFC, was on TV the other day, the day that Hulk Hogan died, actually, and said people like Hulk Hogan, Muhammad Ali, all these athletes paved the way for the UFC. So he not only paved the way for who we see in the WWE today, paved the way for a lot of what we would consider the blood sports, the UFC and so on and so forth. So truly a pioneer, Hulk Hogan was.
Well, John, it also with capitalism and consumerism in the 80s, you either had an Indiana Jones lunchbox or a Hulk Hogan lunchbox. I mean, he was everywhere. You're walking through elementary school when you were a kid. And the money and the marketing that eventually went to boxing and UFC, that's all because of wrestling. And Hulk Hogan was their first huge star.
Well, I think it was Coach Vince brought up the Republican convention in Milwaukee, in which I was there, and I was with the Pennsylvania delegation, and I was in the front row there, and so we were just right by the stage. And of all the speeches made, other than the presidents. That was the most riveting one when he tore his shirt off. And I mean, it was just, the guy was an entertainer, but then like Vince said, when he professed his faith there, it said, he didn't really think about God or anything. And now, he's accepted the Savior, he accepted Jesus as his Lord and Savior. And it was just such a special moment to be able to see that. And sitting there in Milwaukee, that was August of 24. What's this? July of 25, right? So that was 12 months ago. You just didn't think he would die. I mean, he looked phenomenal. Like, tore off his shirt. He's like, guy looks great at 71 or 70, I guess he was at that time. So it was sad. But also, you mentioned Ozzy Osbourne. For all the funny things about Ozzy and some of the intricacies with him, guy was a great entertainer. I mean, he was a great entertainer. I mean, he has some classic songs that we play on the radio on once in a while, and but to have both of those die like within days, kind of sad. Makes you think as you get older, right? You better enjoy every day.
Well, and they just had the final. He just delivered his final performance in the tribute to Black Sabbath and him, and he went off of his meds so he could be lucid for that. What would ended up being his last show. That performance was unbelievable. This guy's been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame not once but twice, with Black Sabbath and with his own career, and that one was tough because when you talk about metal, he's metal. And Gene Simmons, the bravado and the bodaciousness of him, he gave the most heartfelt interview the other day where he said, I tried everything to switch my look, everything to stay metal. He goes, this guy just stayed metal the whole time. He just was true to himself. And then when he got the reality show, and all of a sudden you saw he was a fan of burritos, and he it just humanized him. And that one really hurts. And he felt like he was older than the mid 70s, right? It just seemed crazy. But
because he abused his body for obvious reasons, right? I mean, you can't do all that stuff, and alcohol or whatever he did. I'm not going to get into it, but you abuse your body, you get older, you're not going to look very good, I guess.
Well, and same thing where you guys talked about Hulk Hogan, sounds like he also went on a spiritual path too in his last few years in interview.
And this is obviously a sports show, so how does this pertain to sports? Is there, other than maybe Trevor Hoffman coming in with Hell's Bells, is there any more iconic walk-up song than Chipper Jones going to the plate and Crazy Train playing over the PA system?
Right.
I would say the only one to rival that was Ryan Presley when he came in, played God Will Strike You Down. And if you had been at Minute Maid when he would come in to close and they would play that, as he was by Johnny
Cash, yeah,
God Will Strike You Down. And he made them play that. Normally they play the closer song, guy comes in a pitch, they play it for a minute. He made him play the entire song. And so he was warming up and it would still be playing. And that was his thing. So yeah, that was but Hell's Bells, yeah, that was good.
Did Coach mention? I didn't hear you. Did you mention Mariano Rivera, Enter Sandman? That was the
other classic.
But I think when you talk about the Hulk Hogan's and Ozzy Osbournes, they were such unique characters. They were excellent in what they did. But it goes back to the previous conversation about greatness, and the greatness is the entertainment factor while they're excellent. It's one thing to be a great studio musician. It's an entirely different thing to get on stage in front of 100,000 people and kill it and entertain people, because you can play the notes, but can you entertain and have that stage presence that really draws people into what you're doing, to the craft. And I think that's where those two gentlemen really excelled. And look, time catches up, abuse of the body catches up. Hopefully Ozzy made the same trip in faith that Hulk did. And let's not lose the sight of Theo Huxtable, Malcolm Jamal Warner, great Steeler fan, dying tragically in a drowning. So, look, tempus fugit, time flees, time flies. Get your affairs in order. Spiritual and faith matter. And, even though we talk about sports, they do point us in a different direction. And that's winning at the end of the day. and excellence and making ourselves better, and having a cast of characters around us like on a weekly basis like we have here is a lift, is a benefit and a blessing, and let's not lose sight of what's important.
Yeah, 3 cultural icons gone this week, and I don't know if with the mass media that we have now on social media, I don't know if you can get stars like that anymore. So that's a generation we might not ever see again, where you can have.
Well, I think that's one of the things we see in social media is the amount of performative behavior out there. It does dilute the excellence. It's just become so preposterous at times, and I think we need to move away from that. And it's games like baseball that really do matter in life and culture, is because you can do all these performative things, but it's the performance on the field every day, day in and day out, that makes you great to excellent. And I think that's one of the things we need to focus on when we talk about sports. It's entertainment, no question, but it teaches us so much more.
Absolutely. Rest in peace. You're listening to the Godzilla Win Show. It is time to get some picks in. We are a Saturday pick show, right, John? That's what we started as. That's what we're going to finish as today. John already gave his picks. Brendan, how are we going to win some people some money today? What are we thinking here?
I like Toronto, as I said earlier, over Detroit. Toronto is the hottest team in baseball. They're going to get that win today. And I also like the Dodgers over the Red Sox today, where hopefully another Ohtani streak will start today.
Ooh, I like that. Vince, who do you got for today?
Well, we've stayed clear of the NFL, so I'm going to cheat here. I'm going to go Super Bowl odds. Right now, you can get the Detroit Lions at plus 1,100, and you can get the 49ers at plus 2,000. These are two teams 2 years ago that met in the NFC Championship game. The 49ers got hit by free agency, but if they can stay healthy and Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy and they can keep Brock Purdy upright, I think the 49ers have an opportunity to have a very good season. And at plus 2,000, I think that's worth some money.
Well, I like that. Chris,
I love that last week you did World Series picks, and this week Super Bowl picks, Coach. That's fantastic. I love that. But I'm as always paying real close attention to the WNBA, and I love the fact that the New York Liberty are a 10.5 point favorite. I would definitely take the Sparks over the Liberty there, and the Mystics catching 3.5 from Seattle. Gotta love that. Of course, I'm kidding. I have no idea about the WNBA. I really don't. I just don't care. But I'm taking the Blue Jays money line over the Tigers on the over. I think the Blue Jays are hot and the Tigers are tanking, and they're going to take Tariq Scuba with them, even though he went to Seattle University. He was a no-name guy coming in the 9th round, but that's a great story. Today, great game. Blue Jays, Tigers. Take the Blue Jays money line over the Tigers.
All right. I'm going to stick with the NFL. And hey, we might not have talked about the NFL today, but we have a game this week. On Thursday, we have the Hall of Fame game, Chargers and Lions. Why not? Detroit is favored by 1 point. Over under 32.5. Flip a coin. Take the over. Take the over.
I like that bet. I'm going to do that. I love the over because they're going to be rattling in different defensive players that don't know anything and they don't know the schemes yet. And the offensive players trying to show something. I love that bet. I love that.
You can tell degenerate gamblers.
No, I love that bet.
Because everyone's like, oh, the Hall of Fame game, that's gonna suck. And I'm like,
dude, I'm gonna bet that now. I'm gonna bet that now before it goes up. I love that bet.
That betting on that game is like betting on calling the gambling hotline and seeing how many rings it takes for them to pick up, or if it's a girl or a boy.
Yes. Haven't you ever done that?
Isn't that what gambling is anyway?
Haven't you ever done that?
Read the disclaimer.
Remember, bet responsibly. Entertainment purposes only. 1-800-GAMBLER. Hey, if you watch UFC tonight, put a little bit on Robert Whittaker. Minus 148 over Ritter. I will be watching some of that as well. Well, this has been the Saturday Godzilla Win Show. We just finished our picks. My name is Mitch Rogers. I want to thank everyone on the panel. Brendan Statler, Vince Mayoko, Chris Saxman, John Fredericks. Have an amazing Saturday. Please join us next week at the same time, 9 a.m. on all your channels, Getter, and all of our radio stations. You all have a great weekend.
Great job, Mitch.
West Virginia Sports Nation gives you a top-of-the-mountain view of the Mountaineers sports landscape. See what's happening in all the sports, far beyond football, basketball, and baseball. Gymnastics, track and field, rowing, swimming and diving, golf, volleyball, tennis. More sports, more stories. If the Mountaineers play the game, WVSportsNation.com has it covered. Up-to-date and insightful articles written by Mountaineers for Mountaineers Nation. WVSportsNation.com. WVSportsNation.com. WVSportsNation.com.
Can't tell first. Oh, it's John calling me.